there is no route to the ending of child poverty which does not include addressing the two-child limit. We actually heard stories of, real stories of people with more than two children and the impact this has on their lives. We are storing up trouble for ourselves as a nation, whereby we push whole families and individual children into poverty because of this particular limit. And so overnight, if we changed it, we would lift thousands of children and families out of poverty.
How much does it bother you that actually with this extra number, 100 plus, going into child poverty every day, that strategy has been delayed?
Well, it's hugely frustrating, and it's deeply shaming for us as a nation.
He's frustrated. Are you ashamed?
I'm ashamed of the very high numbers of children growing up in poverty that we see in our country, so I understand the Archbishop's challenge around bringing those numbers down. It's what I came into politics to do. It's what I believe very strongly, that the family that you're born into, family circumstance, shouldn't determine everything you go on to achieve. It's why we've already taken action as a government. New free breakfast clubs, the childcare expansion that rolls out from tomorrow, 30 hours of government-funded childcare for working parents. And alongside that, just recently we announced the single biggest expansion of free school meals to all families in receipt of universal credit. That will lift 100,000 children out of...
Again, it doesn't even cost that much more to make it universal. And then people won't slip through the cracks. And whilst it's fine, it's good that they're rolling out free school meals for people who are on universal credit, which is quite a lot of people, because lots of people are on universal credit who are working. They're working people, right? The reality is, even when you take into account all of those policies, the NIESR still predict that living standards for the poorest 10% will continue to fall. That is taking into account every single policy that you've just stated there, Bridget. That's like a progressive think tank there is predicting that the poorest 10% of households will still see their standard of living go down, which means their kids' standard of living will also go down. And you're here keeping the two-child benefit cap, which is the single biggest driver of child poverty in terms of government policy in this country. And the Archbishop is right to say that it's a moral stain on this country, frankly.
Poverty. But do I accept the challenge that there is more to do on bringing those numbers down further? Yes, I do, and I agree, and this government will deliver that.
I sat with the Archbishop this week and talking to some charity leaders in Middlesbrough area, well. And it was really interesting. He talked about Church of England schools, where children come to school with empty lunch boxes. They get breakfast, thanks to the breakfast clubs, but then they fill up their lunch boxes at the food bank in school, or else they'd have no tea when they get home. He thinks that points to and demands the lifting of the two-child cap on benefit, because he and others think that is main driver for child poverty. Are you...
I mean, that's what the stats say. It's not what they think, it's what the studies show in terms of policy. And it's worth pointing out it's the two-child cap on universal credit. Child benefits are different, right? But it means that you can't get extra universal credit payments for more children after the second, which is the reality.
Ready to lift that two-child cap yet?
So as part of the work that you mentioned that I'm leading with the Work and Pensions Secretary on the Child Poverty Strategy, of course we're looking at...
And again, it's just, I'm going to bring this up yet again. If you have to be in government for over a year and you still don't have your child poverty strategy in order, what the fuck were you doing in opposition? What the fuck were you doing in the 5 years you had where you had no responsibilities as ministers, where you were supposed to be devising your policy prospectus on how you would cut child poverty? You've gotten into government and go, oh shit, we need to be able to have a child poverty strategy. Well, I guess we'll put this on the later base. And it's been a year in government, it's been delayed, and you're still devising it. It's almost like, in opposition, they were spending far more of their effort expunging the left and factional infighting than actually engaging in the creation of a policy prospectus. Because these people are fundamentally unserious individuals. Sorry, they're the adults in the room, apparently.
Every way that we can lift more children out of poverty, that does extend to social security measures alongside that. It's not the only way we can lift children out of poverty, and of course it does come with a big price tag. But we know that not acting also comes with serious consequences and impact too. So for those individual children, poverty blights life chances, it holds people back, it's a moral scar on our country, but it damages us all because as a society, as a country, we're less productive, our economy is weaker. So of course there are choices. The choices we've made already around expanding free school meals, for example, will make a big difference. The free breakfast clubs will make a really big difference. And the changes we're making around cutting the costs of school uniform to parents at the start of coming in from next year alongside that too. So we've already made a lot of progress. But yes, I accept that over many, many years, what we've seen is a big increase in the number of children growing up in poverty. Growing up, I experienced some of that myself, so I know what it feels like. I know the damage
it's going to be
it has.
higher at the end of this Parliament, according to the Child Poverty Action Group.
Literally, again, as I pointed out, right, that not only are poor households can continue to get poorer, and it's also funny that that same report that I showed earlier shows that the other households, the top 90%, they're all going to have their standards of living increase. Labour government, where the only sector of society whose living standards are projected to go down, are the poorest. That's a giant failure. A giant failure. And we're still going to see a further increase in child poverty in this country, everywhere, apart from Scotland. Do you know why Scotland are going to see a drop in the number of children living in poverty? It's because they're putting in a policy platform that's going to work around to ensure that the two-child cap on universal credit doesn't affect Scotland. Turns out, just get rid of that, get rid of the two-child cap on universal credit, and suddenly all the child poverty stops. Mystery, innit?
Well, that is obviously depends upon wider and further government action.
OK. Oh, what would that be, that further government action?
Well, for example, the changes that we're bringing in from tomorrow around access to childcare. Working parents will be able to access 30 hours of government-backed childcare. One of the biggest barriers around child poverty is skills, access to work and other challenges.
Can I just very quickly ask?
And I'm sorry, again, these are all fine policies, but they will not solve poverty. Poverty is, quite frankly, a lack of money. It is defined as a lack of money, because they use the amount of money you have as the yardstick as to whether or not you are in poverty. So you need to give money to people in poverty to get them out of poverty. We already have incredibly low unemployment in this country. Your current strategy is predicted to ensure that these kids are going to continue to be living in more and more poverty. Poor households are going to be poorer and poorer. And that's what your policy platform is predicted to currently do. You need to do more. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for memberships. It's just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.